are you doing here? Didn't you graduate already?
I'm here to host Saudi night. What are you doing here? I thought you graduated.
Yes, I would have. If I knew what I wanted to do with my life.
It's okay. Nobody knows what they want to do with their lives. I graduated and I still don't know, so it's fine.
I mean, the upside, we're both here hosting Saudi night together.
Yeah, welcome everybody. My name is Faisal Rayani. I was born and raised in Saudi Arabia, so I'm hosting the night. My dad's from Tunisia. My mother is from Syria, and I'm an MSU grad. Thank you.
And my name is Farah Halmir. I'm a biomedical sciences major here in MSU and an aspiring surgeon. Yes, I want to cut people open for a living. I was born and raised on the east coast of Saudi, also known as Sharqiya, but I am also a quarter Iraqi.
Anyone from Iraq or Sharqiya here?
Yeah.
Yes, right there, I see you.
Our theme this year is unity and diversity and cultural heritage.
Yes, tonight is going to be the night where you learn a lot of fun facts about Saudi Arabia and brag to all your friends who know nothing about Saudi Arabia.
Tonight is also the night where someone wins a free, wait for it, iPhone!
A whole iPhone? How do I win one?
I thought they would be more excited than that. Let's just take the iPhone and go.
Okay, Oprah. All right, take it easy.
Well, you don't win one, but someone in the audience can.
Damn, so you're telling me I drove all the way here from the Twin Cities and you're not even going to give me a chance to win an iPhone? No, you're right. It's okay. Continue.
There's going to be 2 rounds of quizzes about the events tonight. The winner from each round will qualify to a final round of questions, and the winner of the final round will get the iPhone.
So keep your ears open for a chance to win a real iPhone. We're serious. This is not a joke.
We also have a few performances lined up, so prepare for Arabic music, dancing, and a whole lot of food.
And public service announcement, the bathrooms are just around the corner, so if you need to take a break, just go through any of these side doors or get out from the back.
And the food, did you say, food will be served at 8:30 because what's a better way to keep people here other than a free iPhone and food?
That's why I'm here. So, what's the best way to start a formal Saudi event?
With a reading from the Quran, and beforehand, feel free to dig into those sweets on your tables. They're courtesy of our sponsor, Saad ad-Din. They're super good, so try not to, we don't want a bloodbath in here.
We definitely want you to take the rest home, though. We don't want any leftovers, so
yes.
Please take them home.
And so let's start with a reading from the Quran, recited by Abdurrahman al-Muallid.
Let's give him a round of applause. Okay, so.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين قل آمنا بالله وما أنزل علينا وما أنزل على إبراهيم وإسماعيل وإسحاق ويعقوب والأسباط وما أوتي موسى وعيسى وما أوتي موسى وعيسى والنبيون من ربهم لا نفرق بين أحد منهم ونحن له مسلمون. صدق الله العظيم.
Thank you. That was beautiful and sincere.
Fun fact, the art of reading the Quran is called tartil.
Well, next up we have some opening remarks from some outstanding individuals in the community.
Please help us welcome the Dean of Global Education, Dr. Dahlman.
Good evening, everyone. Look at this beautiful, beautiful ballroom. The Saudis know how to set up a party. Look at the green lights. Everything is just perfect. When I think about the Saudi community, I think about children running around, happy. I think about family. I know there's someone waving. I think about amazing food, the sweets, and the very, very welcoming individuals. Coming in, everyone is smiling and love learning about your culture. And there's always an educational component. And there's always an exam or a test. And I want to recognize Fedwa. What an amazing job you've done leading the Saudi community on campus. And we are so happy you're here and cannot wait to see what I learned tonight. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Dr. Dahlman. Next up, we have Stephanie Gonzalez, the Assistant Director of the International Center.
Here.
Help her up with a round of applause.
Good evening, everyone. I'm feeling very short right now. Welcome to Saudi Arabia. As you can see, our students have done a wonderful job. I'm so proud of them. My name is Stephanie Gonzalez. I'm from the Carney Center for International Student Services, and I have the privilege every day of working with many of these students. It's truly an honor, and I'm very proud of you all for all that you've done. And with that, I will say one Arabic word. Are you ready? Shukran.
That was nice. Shukran means thank you in Arabic.
When Dr. Dahlman was talking about the green lights, I thought she was talking about the exit signs at first. I'm like, yeah, we totally planned those, yeah.
Next up, we have Dr. Wayne Allen, a good friend of the Saudi Student Association.
Dr. Wayne Allen is one of my favorite professors. His classes do not require attendance, but I still went to every class because of how captivating his lectures are. Help us welcome Dr. Wayne Allen to the stage.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. It's an honor to be here. Fadwa, you finally got me here. She's been after me to come for a while now. I'd like to just tell you a few things. Being a professor and a cultural anthropologist, Saudi Arabia is one of the most fascinating places in the world, and most of us from the West don't know much about it. If you've ever read Sir Richard Burton, Burton introduced the West to Islam and to the Saudi culture, and then some people have read T.E. Lawrence, or they've seen David Lean's beautiful movie, Lawrence of Arabia. But Saudi Arabia is perhaps one of the most fascinating places on earth, and there's not hyperbole there. I've been to the Middle East I've never been to Saudi Arabia. I've been to the UAE. I've been to Dubai. I don't like Dubai much. I'll admit that. It's kind of the Las Vegas of the Middle East. I really like Abu Dhabi a lot. I like traditional people and traditional culture. So I want to just tell you a little bit about the tradition of Saudi Arabia, or the Arabian Peninsula, if you will, if I may. It was originally inhabited by nomadic Bedouin tribes, and they dominated the peninsula before the rise of Islam. And these tribes were made up of family groups called what we call clans, and they formed larger tribal units which reinforced family cooperation in the difficult living conditions of the Arabian desert. And to put this in perspective, Saudi Arabia is a very large country, but it is the least densely populated country on earth today, if I'm not mistaken. So that tells you how harsh this desert is where people live, but people lived there and they lived well. And the family cooperation in these tribes in this difficult living condition protected the members of the families against other tribes and against the elements. The Bedouin tribes were nomadic pastoralists. They herded animals who relied on their herds of goats, sheep, and camels for meat, milk, cheese, blood, fur, wool, and other sustenance. And also horses. If any of you have ever ridden horses like I have and you appreciate horses, Arabian horses are some of the most beautiful, powerful horses in the world. And in Saudi Arabia, horses have lineages like people. And there are families that keep these horses and extensive histories of the horse lineages. And they're very, very valued horses all over the world. Some of the most beautiful horses in the world. The pre-Islamic Bedouins also hunted and served as bodyguards. They escorted caravans. They worked as mercenaries. They traded and raided to gain animals, women, gold, fabric, and other luxury items. And the Aryan tribes began to move out, the Arab tribes began to move out and appear in the southern Syrian deserts and southern Jordan around 200 in the Common Era. But they spread from the Central Arabian Peninsula after the rise of Islam, approximately 630 in the Common Era. These early Bedouin people were polytheistic, and like many, many other tribal people, they were shamanistic and polytheistic before the rise of Islam. And these polytheistic Bedouin clans placed heavy emphasis on kin-related groups with the immediate family often sharing one tent, but sometimes a whole clan could be in a tent. So many of these tents and their associated familial relations comprise the tribe. And when you look at people living in an environment, for example, my Native American ancestors here, when you look at the way they live traditionally, you have to look at what's called a limiting resource. It's a thing that you have to survive, and in the Arabian desert, it's water. And the ownership of wells in the desert determined where people lived and how you accessed one another. Access to wells, there was a very strict protocol that was in place about who could come to a well, who could drink from it. You couldn't go up to just any well, even if you were dying of thirst. You had to have permission from that clan or the local tribe leader there. Society was patriarchal, as it still is under Islam, even among the early Bedouin. Inheritance came down through the male line. And tribes, again, they provided a means of protection for all their members. And death to one member was taken as a very serious thing. You didn't want to kill someone from another tribe. This could create a war, literally, if you did that. Non-members of the tribe were viewed as outsiders or enemies. Tribes shared common ethical understandings and provided an individual with an identity. Warfare between tribes was common among the Bedouin, and warfare was given high honor. And this is something that's really common if you read the Old Testament or look at pastoral peoples. Warfare is very common because you're moving your herds around all the time and you're constantly encroaching on other people's lands. And so there's this warrior ethos that develops among tribal people who are pastoral. Here in this area, people weren't pastoral, but they hunted migratory herds of animals, and so they had a warrior ethos here that developed among the Native Americans as well. Warfare was common. It was given a high honor. The difficult living conditions in the peninsula created a heavy emphasis on family cooperation, further strengthening the clan system. Now, forgive me because I don't speak Arabic. My oldest son is quite a remarkable person. He taught himself to read Arabic. He's read the entire Quran in Arabic, and he keeps telling me it's something I need to do, and maybe one day, inshallah, I'll be able to do that. But the word Kabila means tribe, and it refers not only to a kinship group, but also to a status category. Kabili families claim descent from one of two Arab ancestors, Adnan or Qatan, and feel themselves to be distinct from and superior to the non-tribal Qadiri. And the Qadiri included most of the tradesmen, artisans, and merchants and scholars of pre-modern Arabia. People of Kabili status divide themselves into superior and inferior tribes, with the former able to claim purity in blood and origin. If I'm not mistaken, the word is asl in Arabic. And this is really important because we in the modern world, we have what's called an achieved status. We're born with an ascribed status. We're our parents' children. If they're wealthy, we generally go to a wealthy school. That's an ascribed status. But we have a thing in the modern world where we can change our status. My mother was a fry cook. My brother's a trauma surgeon. I'm a professor. You know, and so we could achieve a different status than our mother. But in this world, you were born into an ascribed status, and that determined where you lived, who you married, who you could interact with, who you traded with, how you traded with them. The most prominent of the superior tribes in Arabia are the Anisa, the Shamar, the Harb, Mustair, am I saying that right, Mustair? Ajman, Dafir, Banu Khalid, Banu Hajir, Al-Mura, Khatan, Uteba, Dawasir, Sahul, Manasir, Banu Yas, Sibeh, Kawasim, Banu Yam, Zab, and Banu Tamim. The main tribes considered inferior are Awazim, Rasheda, Hutaim, Achel, and Suluba. The Suluba, who traveled the desert as tinkers and metalworkers in service the more affluent Bedouin, were at the bottom of the tribal social scale. Now, this is important because in the traditional world, marriage isn't about falling in love. It's about an exchange of goods and alliances between families and clans. And therefore, who you were, your status, determined who you could marry and who you couldn't. So marriage between individuals of the Kabila and the Qadiri status and between individuals of superior and inferior tribes was frowned upon. Since the Kabili claim to status was dependent upon purity of descent through the paternal line, the children of such a marriage would suffer the taint of mixed blood and reflect on the status of the tribe as a whole. And my people, we are the Métis nation, en français Métis. We were In Canada, we have Aboriginal status, and if you look at the Minnesota state stamp of the two-wheeled Red River ox cart, that's our people. We were here, we mixed, our French forebears mixed with our fathers, French fathers, mixed with our Indian mothers. But back then, we were frowned upon. And we still are very often in a very subtle way in the American narrative. Most of you, or many of you, have read Tom Sawyer. Well, who's the bad guy? Injun Jim, the half-breed. And we were called half-breeds or breeds. And the truth is, we were the people that slaughtered the buffalo. It wasn't white people, and it wasn't Indians. It was those of us who were Métis, because we could function in both societies. We understood the white culture. We lived in it. We spoke the language. We also understood the Native American culture of our mothers, and we were therefore co-opted to do this very nasty thing, to hunt buffalo for their hides. These status barriers to marriage, are beginning to break down in the contemporary Saudi Arabia, because access to education, economic advantage, global travel, these have created new statuses among people, and it's happening everywhere in the world. Those of you who've come here from other countries who are older with younger children, you see this happening, you come here, the identity starts to change. And so I just want to wrap this up here. A little known fact that most of you don't know: Saudi Arabia is one of the top migrant destinations worldwide, preceded only by the United States, the Russian Federation, and Germany. Most people don't know that. There are about, if I'm not mistaken, there are about 33 million people in Saudi Arabia. The sex ratio between males and females, about 135 males to 100 females. The age distribution, I think about a quarter of the population is under the age of 20 in Saudi Arabia today. This poses some challenges. And of course, there's the whole history of Islam coming in. And I would recommend that you go to someone like an imam to teach you properly about that. But there are 5 pillars in Islam, and it's been my honor to be a Muslim for several years now, and I love Islam. I love my Muslim brothers and sisters, and I've traveled the world. I've prayed with people all over the entire world. I've really had the privilege of knowing a lot of different religions. I have a degree in religious studies, actually, and in my life, and I love praying with my Native brothers and sisters, but I have to tell you, in my life, I really feel most at home when I'm praying with my Muslim brothers. And that's just really, really a simple, beautiful, humble truth. I thank you all for the opportunity to speak before you tonight, and enjoy your evening. You don't want to hear a lecture. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Really good to see you.
Thank you, Dr. Allen. That was a lot of good questions. That was a lot of good questions. We could have asked these questions in the quiz.
I know, right?
But you will not be quizzed on them.
But you see what I mean, though? Captivating. You just got like a $3,000 history lesson right there.
Honestly, these are true facts.
All right, and next, a very special person to our association is retiring this year. Professor Jacqueline Viacelli. In the name of the Saudi Society in Mankato, we thank you, Dr. Viacelli, for everything that you gave to this university.
Will you please raise your hand up? She's right here. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your generosity and understanding. And mostly, thank you for your high values that you instill in your students. We will miss you, and we will miss the most kind and most delightful person on campus who's ever walked on it. Thank you for everything, Professor. Fadwa, you're up next. Now,
Now, please help us welcome the president of the Saudi Student Association, Fadwa Al-Amri. Faisal is gonna just debrief a little bit.
Fadwa is the very first female student president of the Saudi Student Association that we've had at this university. Let's give her a round of applause. Come up on stage. Oh, she's responsible for this night. Everything you see around you, this woman has prepared. 90% of the work is all her.
Yeah. Woman power. Wait, I'm coming.
My name is Fadwa Al-Amri. I'm president of the Saudi Student Association. Growing up, my father and I were really close. Since I can remember, I would always welcoming him home with a warming hug. After he came back from the Maghrib sunset prayer, and it's something I miss dearly. However, I'm thankful to have a remember of him with me here in the United States. My brother Muhammad, he is one of 3 brothers I grew up with. Even though I was the only daughter, I did not feel closely because my brothers protect me like brothers and created for me like sisters. Now began a female president of mostly male groups bring me back the joy of having my brothers around me. Now I have 7 new brothers. The board members, Abdurrahman Al-Muwallad, Abdullah Al-Jarba, Adil Al-Nassar, Bilal Al-Batta, Saoud Al-Khalili, Muhammad Al-Jarba. Finally, I have to thank all members that help us with the planning events. I would always like to thank the MNSU community for the supporting give us the time. We are running this, our event here in MNSU. I hope all of you enjoy with this event tonight, and welcoming for everybody to coming tonight.
Thank you so much, Fadwa. That was beautiful. Next up, we have a personal friend of mine, a vice president for this university who has spent a long time in the Middle East, Mark Johnson.
Assalamu alaikum. I bring you greetings from this university, more specifically, the president of this university, Richard Davenport. He supports our young people, he supports our students, and he supports our dream of an international or global campus. I walked in the room with my family. My wife and my daughter have joined me, and the first thought we had, they shared this with me right before I came up because I hadn't planned to talk, and they said, you know what you should say? It reminds us of home. We lived in Abu Dhabi, and we lived in Fujairah, in the United Arab Emirates. We did not, and what I wanted to say was the thought was the sights, the smells, and the sounds were here. And we really appreciated those. And I'm going to keep this brief because this thing means I get to eat some of the food, so I want to do that. We did not have the opportunity of going to Saudi Arabia, but we were in the Liwa Desert driving our 4-wheel drive Lexus on the desert dunes. And we got really close, and they said, don't cross that line because you don't have the right paperwork. So we thought, okay, we won't do that. But it is my plan and hope, inshallah, that I will get to Saudi Arabia someday. So I bring our greetings of our university, and I thank you for all of you that have come and all that have worked so hard on this night. Thank you. And let's eat soon. 8:30. 8:30 after the, no. Thank you very much. Greetings.
Thank you, Mark. There's only 20 minutes until the food. I know you can smell it. It's so good, but we just have to wait.
Thanks for waiting.
We're very grateful that you all came here today. So to say hello and welcome, we prepared a small welcome dance. Oh no, I mean some other professional people who actually know how to dance prepared it, not me or you. We're gonna be backstage. It's fine.
Okay, good, because I didn't prepare a dance, because finals week is coming up.
Let's give him a round of applause.
By the way, for the non-Arabic speakers, Hala actually means hello in Arabic.
So the next time you see a Saudi person walking down the hallway, definitely raise your hand up like this and give them one of these. Hala, hala.
After a few seconds of confusion at your Arabic skills, they will be sure to say hala right back.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I think we wanted to give a shout out here. Is anyone else here? Is anyone here from the Najd region? So that's Qasim and Riyadh. That's where I'm from, so I was hoping for a bigger shout out, but it's fine.
Okay, I have a question for the audience. This isn't a quiz question, by the way. It's not a quiz question. When was the last time you've seen a Saudi on the news? Just like shout it out. Yesterday.
Just shout it out or raise your hand up.
Yesterday. I'm assuming like it's like that soon, yesterday or 2 days ago.
A Saudi person or a Middle Eastern person on the news. When you think of Saudi people on the news, what do you think? It's okay, you can be honest.
We don't get offended.
And, huh? Yes, oil, thank you. Anyone else? Wealthy, that's nice. These are some nice stereotypes. What else?
Those are the nice ones. How about the not nice ones?
Yeah, it's okay. This is a safe space. Oppressive? Oppressor? Damn, okay, what else? Desert, okay, desert. Well, yes, driving. So when we think of Saudi Arabia, we think of a lot of negative things, and every time we hear about Saudi Arabia on the news, the media doesn't necessarily portray Saudi Arabia in the best way. And some news segments don't get as much coverage as others.
And so, we're just going to show you some of the ones that actually do, but they're not displayed on this the media here.
Yes.
I know the names of the 2 men who died while trying to help 2 children who were having trouble swimming in the Chicopee River. Hampden County DA spokesman Jim Lyden told 22 News the victims have been identified as 27-year-old Thebe Aliami of Hartford and 25-year-old Jaser Daham Raqqa of Springfield. Both men are foreign nationals from Saudi Arabia and were students at local colleges.
So 2 Saudi students, Thebe and Jasir, tried to save 2 children in this water stream, and they died trying to do it. And it was on the news. This was a real thing, and they were Saudi students just like the students at our college. Yeah, shout out to them. They're heroes.
Abdulaziz resuscitates an American in Washington whose car had flipped over after midnight.
Honor student Waleed resuscitated a patient on his way to get recognized in the Poole Hospital in England for being an honor student.
Yasser saved a Canadian boy who was trapped in the backseat of a burning car in Ottawa.
Mohammed Shahrani charged and put out a house on his own and saved an entire American family. He was decorated for his bravery by the fire department in America.
Khalifa helped bring down a man who ran over a woman and then stole her. A man ran over a woman and stole her purse, and Khalifa helped bring him down.
Holland Airlines honored Waleed after he provisioned first aid to a woman in her 40s after the airplane was in midair.
Saad saved an Australian citizen from certain death after his house caught on fire in his sleep.
They never died. They're alive and hosted by Allah. Every nice act in this life has an impact, and this impact will remain forever. The good embrace will be followed by others. And don't forget that the good souls will always flap around you, rest you, please you, and also motivate you. So don't grieve for those who already left. They are always around and inside our hearts. Finally, the question will remain: what's the benefit to live 1,000 years without making any impact?
All right, I'm going to start without him. Shout out to Fedwa's friends in Saudi who created this video as a gift to the Saudi kids abroad.
So the reason we played this video, oh yeah, shout out to these people. They made this video in 2 days. I don't know what they're on over there, but they're like fast. They even like made some edits too. And the reason why we wanted to show you this video is because we wanted to challenge some of the perceptions that the media has been feeding about Saudi Arabian people.
Oh, you mean how we go to school on camels and live in tents?
I don't go to school on my camel. Camel meat is too delicious. I go to school on my goat.
Oh, what's his name?
His name is Wasim.
You should have named him Hmar.
Damn.
All right, a question for the audience. What do you think of when you think of the history of the Arabian Peninsula?
Like the history, the past. Shout it out.
Like how old is it? How far back does it go?
Trade, frankincense and myrrh, ancient Egypt trade.
Wow. That was a very well-educated answer that I did not expect. Any other answers also? I'm sorry? Wine. That's interesting. Anyone else? Alcohol? I don't know if that was, there was a lot of that in Saudi Arabian history.
Was invented for perfumery.
Wow, you guys are teaching me.
1100 AD.
Damn, can you come up here and teach everybody about Saudi Arabia? What else do we have? What's that? Dates, yes. What else? Oh, say that again. Islam, yes. Yeah, so most people associate Middle Eastern history with Islam, the rise of Islam, anything relating to Islam and Saudi Arabia and oil. But this next segment, we're hoping to challenge your perception further than Dr. Vaselli just challenged my perceptions.
So let's take a brief look into the rich history of that region.
The region of the Arabian Peninsula had long been inhabited by nomadic Arabs, known as Bedouins. Bedouins herded their camels and sheep in a seasonal migration. They lived in independent clans and tribes which often traded with each other. These Arabs valued bravery, loyalty, and hospitality. They also greatly treasured their highly expressive oral poetry. In the northern and southern regions of Arabia, small kingdoms flourished and practiced agriculture. Arabia's increasingly important trade routes that connected the Indian Ocean world with that of the Mediterranean Sea played a crucial role both as a shield from foreign invasions and in the global trade that expanded from China and India to the rest of the Old World. A location that gave rise to cosmopolitan commercial cities. Some of these cities include Tima, where the last ruler of Babylon, Nabonid, moved his capital before its decline. Al-Ula, which was the capital of the ancient Lehianites, which was built more than 2,000 years ago by the Nabateans, controlled the trade in the 1st century. Al-Fao, the capital of the Kinda Kingdom, which was established in central Arabia and took the burden of defending the region for several decades, from several empires' expansions by creating a collusion with Byzantine Emperor Justinian. The most important of these cities was Mecca, which came to occupy a distinctive role in Arabia. Through long-distance trade routes, Mecca was the site of the Kaaba, which is the most prominent religious shrine in Arabia, a destination for many pilgrims. Mecca's dominant tribe, called Quraysh, had come to control the trade and re-establish the role of the Nabateans' kingdom. They had grown wealthy by taxing the local trade that accompanied the annual winter and summer seasons. Among the catalysts of events, as well as the birth of a new religion, a single individual named Muhammad ibn Abdullah was born in Mecca to the Quraysh clan, changing everything. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was one of the Quraysh clansmen, and he became famous in Mecca. His teachings spread and transformed the Arabian Peninsula into peace and unity. After Muhammad, peace be upon him, died, the Arabian Peninsula soon expanded from a state to an empire, extending from west of China to south of Spain. The Islamic faith has spread within and outside that empire. So too did the culture and language of Arabia, with many Arabs migrating far beyond the original homeland and many others finding it advantageous to learn Arabic. That created the third wave of civilization. A high literacy rate and focus on scientific achievement became possible through a blend of cultures and belief systems, which made early science cosmopolitan. This revolutionary technological movement was centered in the House of Wisdom, the largest library in the world at the time. Coming into contact with Greek science and philosophy, the Arabs spread the old works of Plato and Aristotle to Europe through Spain. As the Abbasid dynasty declined, the Arabs began to lose their role in the world for 500 years to other foreign rulers. It was until the first Saudi state in the year 1744 when Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab and Prince Muhammad ibn Saud formed an alliance to establish a political religious reform movement to unify the many states of the Arabian Peninsula and free it again. Its decline in 1818 made the state vulnerable for a foreign invasion. A second attempt, called the Second Saudi State, was made in 1824 to try and form an Arab rule, but to maintain its rule through neighboring rulers. Until 1902, when Abdulaziz ibn Abdurrahman al Saud, later to be known as Ibn Saud, made the dream of unification possible within 32 years, making it the only independent state in the Middle East at the time. Foreign relations relations with the United States came before the end of the Second World War, when President Franklin D. Roosevelt met with Abdulaziz ibn Saud on February 14, 1945, aboard a United States Navy destroyer in the Suez Canal. It was the first time a United States president had ever met with a Saudi Arabian king, with the encounter laying a foundation for United States-Saudi relations that would continue for generations.
Wow, what a great video. Almost like it was narrated by my little brother, who's sitting right there. Shout out to Abdullah, who did the editing in the back too.
All right, now it's time for, we kind of covered the history of Saudi. Now we can talk about the politics, and we have two great presenters presenting a great presentation. That's a lot of presenting.
The best presenters. Let's give them a round of applause. It was us, we're presenting it. That's the joke. Got him.
All right, so the first segment is the Saudi and United States relations. So when President Franklin D. Roosevelt met with King Abdulaziz ibn Saud on February 14th, 1945, aboard the U.S. Navy destroyer in the Suez Canal, it was the first time a U.S. president had ever met with a Saudi Arabian king. And the encounter actually laid a foundation for U.S.-Saudi relations. FDR told his advisor Bernard Broach, quote, "Among all the men that I had to deal with during my lifetime, I have met no one than this Arab monarch from whom I could extricate so little. The man has an iron will." The U.S.-Saudi relations is considered the oldest in the Middle East and the Islamic world.
On the United Nations front, Saudi Arabia is considered a permanent member of the UN as of 24th of October, 1945. Abdullah Yahya al-Muallami, a Saudi diplomat, is currently serving as a permanent representative for Saudi Arabia. The UN, for those of you who didn't know, is a global organization composed of almost all of the world's independent countries. Its objectives include maintenance of international peace and security, the protection of human rights, the provision of humanitarian assistance, the promotion of sustainable development, and the strengthening of international law.
And the next part is Saudi Arabia in G20. So G20 is an international forum of governments and central bank governors from 20 countries. It was established in 1999 to discuss policy in hopes of strengthening international financial stability. G20 represents 2/3 of world trade. It seeks to address issues that exceed the responsibilities of any single organization. Saudi Arabia has been able to play an important role in controlling the rhythm of global economy, and Saudi gained extraordinary significance in its participation in the G20 summit. And the 2020 G20 summit will be held in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia.
Next, we're going to talk about KSAD, an acronym that I'm sure none of you have heard of. KSAD stands for the King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz International Center for Interreligious and Interfaith Dialogue.
Say that 5 times really fast and you get the iPhone.
Your iPhone, maybe. We're not going to give out the iPhone for that. It is an international organization established in 2012 by Saudi Arabia, the Republic of Australia, and the Kingdom of Spain, as well as the Vatican as founding members of the observatory. It serves as an interfaith dialogue center and promotes understanding among followers of different religions and cultures. And it promotes a culture of respect, diversity, and establishes rules of justice and peace between nations and peoples. KSAD addresses the contemporary challenges confronting societies, including oppression, violence, and conflict.
The next one is OPEC, OPEC, which is a global organization of 11 countries that rely heavily on oil exports to achieve their income. The abbreviation OPEC stands for Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. And the member states of this organization have 40% of the world output and 70% of world oil reserves. Saudi Arabia possesses around 18% of the world's proven petroleum reserves and ranks as the largest exporter of petroleum. The oil and gas sector accounts for about 50% of GDP and about 70% of export earnings. OPEC may work as well as it does only because one member, Saudi Arabia, has enough oil to balance supply enough unilaterally, informing stability in the world energy sector.
Quick poll, who here has heard of OPEC? Raise your hand up. Almost everybody in the room. Who here has heard of KAISED? Raise your hand up. Right, I know, so much knowledge we're learning today. The last part of this presentation is going to be an honoring of a special hero to the Saudi Student Association, a memorial of Saud al-Faisal. The Saudi Student Association would like to take a moment to honor one of its heroes in this special night, Prince Saud bin Faisal Al Saud. Prince Saud served as Saudi Arabia's foreign minister from 1975 to 2015 and led the country's foreign affairs with significant success. A graduate from Princeton University, Saud spoke more than 6 languages, including Arabic, English, Spanish, Hebrew, French, Italian, and German. The Saudi Student Association, in one voice, state that Prince Saud was a primary inspiration for all of them. He never left them, and he still lives in their actions. May peace be with him, and thank you for everything. Let's give him a round of applause. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. The food. So please converse among yourselves. We're going to have volunteers pick you up one table at a time, and you're going to be getting the food.
And enjoy it. It's going to be really good.
Eat as much as you can. There's more food in the back. There's more food in the truck, so just fill those plates up. Who's hungry?
So proud of his heritage, Saudi began its journey as a nation of many united tribes, like Dr. Moynihan mentioned.
And so, in honoring of Saud al-Faisal, we talked about before, we're going to do a tribal victory war dance. So, help us welcome the Saudi Student Association with this victory war dance.
And feel free to clap along.
was majestic. Let's pretend like the food you're eating are the spoils of war.
You want to know what's funny though?
What's funny?
Donald Trump doing that dance.
I saw that video. There's a video.
Anyone who hasn't seen it should definitely look it up. It's yeah, worth it.
I highly recommend it.
I'm not even sorry.
All right, we're gonna do our first quiz for the iPhone. Are you ready? So the winner from this round qualifies to the next round and will be eligible to win a whole iPhone.
Not half an iPhone?
Huh?
Not half an iPhone?
Yes, a whole iPhone, an entire one, not just the button or the speakers. So to help us with this segment, we're gonna call up Omar on stage to help pull out tickets. Come up on stage. Let's give him a round of applause. Yes. All right, let's get to the middle of the stage. Okay, so Omar, I want you to mix this really good and pull out one card. Yeah. Let's you want to do it again? Do it again. Perfect. Okay, pull out one card. Okay, what numbers does that say?
335247.
335247. Is that your ticket? Yeah, come on up on stage. Isn't that your friend? Okay, Omar, one more. Shake it real good.
335205.
335205. Raise your hand up. Just come up on stage. Oh, hello. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Omar. You did a great job. High five. We're going to call you for the second segment. Let's give him a round of applause. Should we confirm these tickets, or are you guys on? 3352.
I mean, no one else stood up and was like, hey.
I guess we can award them for right. No, they do have the right card numbers.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's how this is going to go. We're going to ask you a question each. And if you get the question right, then qualify to answer the question. If both of you get the first question you get wrong, then we're going to do another round. But if one of you gets it right and the other one gets it wrong, or the one who gets it right passes on. Is that confusing?
No, I got it.
Perfect. What are your names? Muhammad. Logan. Thank you for coming up on stage, Muhammad and Logan. The first question.
Which of these three cities was mentioned in the video? A. Najran, B. Jeddah.
We'll tell you.
Okay. A. Najran, B. Jeddah, and C. Tema.
Muhammad, let's go. A. Muhammad answered Jeddah, and the answer is C. Tema. We're sorry. Next question.
What was the name of the largest library in the city?
century AD? Is it A, Justinian I? Is it B, Julius Caesar? Or C, Theodora? A, Justinian. You are correct! One more round of questions. Okay. Muhammad, what's the date that FDR met King Abdulaziz? No audience participation. Is it A, February 14th, 1945, B, July 4th, 1946, or C, February 14th, 1946? That's correct, it's A, February 14th, Valentine's Day, 1945. All right, last question. What
does the OPEC acronym stand for? That's OPEC. The Organization of Petroleum Extensive Care. The Organization of the Partnership Election Countries. The Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries.
The Organization of Petroleum. You are correct, it is C. Well, that's all the questions we have. You both qualified to the final round. Let's give it a round of applause. No, so you both qualified to the final round, which means that we're going to call you back up on stage for another round.
Toward the end of the night.
Okay. Thank you. One more round of applause. I bet you didn't walk in thinking you had an iPhone.
All right, the night is almost coming to an end.
Well, the next thing we have on the list is an economic section with lots of good quiz questions that might come out of it. So we have Adil who's going to tell us about the thriving economy of Saudi Arabia. Help him up on stage. Give him a round of applause. He's going to cook it for you. I lost it. I'm sorry. I love you. I'm sorry. Would you bring it? Would you bring it? I couldn't find it.
Hello everyone. He lost the clicker for me, so you might get lost in your presentation.
He's right, I did. I apologize.
Huge part of 2030 vision relies on improving the economy in Saudi Arabia, especially the non-oil income. I'll explain the access to achieve that goal. First, improving the domestic content and developing new programs to diversify the income. Annually, Saudi Arabia spends over $20-30 billion externally. Domestic content is a program to minimize this huge spend, and it's divided into three sections: arming deals, car importing, and entertainment. First, arming deals. All arming deals will be conducted by one condition, which is exchange of technology by its level of complexity. First, simple tech. It will be 100% Saudi. Second, it's mid-level technology. It will vary from 20 to 70% Saudi. And third, high-level technology. The condition will change to be forcing the country to use Saudi raw materials. Car importing. Saudi Arabia imports over $30 billion worth of cars. The program to solve this problem is to force the government to use Saudi-produced cars. And this is a picture of Gonzalez, which is a car made by Saudi hands. Third is entertainment. Saudis spend over $22 billion on entertainment outside Saudi Arabia. So the government developed the General Entertainment Authority, which made events all over the country during the whole year. These purposeful programs are going to bring 50% of these spendings home, which worth over $100 billion by 2030. Second, expanding the Saudi industrial market by developing mining factories and building the largest solar panel farms, also benefiting of the logistical industry. This program is basically taking advantage of natural resources. Mining factories aims to benefit from the natural resources. 6% of uranium in the world is in Saudi Arabia. Uranium is the principal fuel for nuclear factors. It's also used as a ballast for ships and counterweight for aircraft. Other resources, Saudi Arabia uses only 3% of other resources such as gold, silver, zinc, copper, and silica. And the third big program is Wa'ad al-Shamal Industrial City for phosphate production. By 2030, Saudi Arabia is going to be the second in the world for phosphate production. Some of the usage of phosphate is, it's used in many fields like personal care, industrial and institutional cleaners, and also in technical usage such as fire extinguishers. Second is solar panel farms. First phase will be launched by August 2019, producing 7 gigawatts. The production capability of 200 gigawatts by 2030, which is going to be 50% of the world's production. Third, benefiting of the logistical industry, increasing the non-oil exporting by 50% by building new ports, airports, trains, to take full advantage of our strategical geographical position. These programs will provide over $20 billion by 2020. What I mentioned earlier was the plans to minimize the overspending. The question is how to take advantage of it. These developing plans are making our market very interesting for the investors. Two things will be affected positively. First, the market value. Second, the sovereign wealth fund. Market value is the price an asset would fetch in the marketplace. Saudi market grew with almost 40% in the last decade. In 2010, it's worth over $500 billion. And in 2020, it is going to worth over $700 billion. Sovereign Wealth Fund is the fund that made or takes some money out of the annual government budget. This fund will be the largest in the world by 2030 with $1.8 trillion value. This fund invests in many fields like energy and mining, communication technology, financial services, agriculture, and transportation. This diversity is to avoid huge losses when things didn't went well. With these plans, this is the biggest outcome of all of these programs. The government expects to stop the fiscal deficit by 2023. Thank you so much.
Like I said, our night is almost over, but stick around because we are getting to the free iPhone part of the night.
Yes. So, we have one more quiz. And what we're going to do is, because we have both candidates qualified for the last round, we're going to do one more elimination round for those same candidates. Let's bring them back up on stage. How are you feeling? Is this stressed on? Cool. You section. Yeah, confidence like that, iPhone's gonna come to you. All right, first question. What percentage of the world's solar energy will be produced by Saudi Arabia in the future? There's a lot of sun in Saudi Arabia, but not that much. The correct answer is 50%. So sorry. Next question. How much does Saudi Arabia spend externally for entertainment? Today, 22 billion. The B, 2 billion. That's the correct answer. You got it. Great. Let's give a round of applause. What's going to happen to you is you're going to go up against one more person in the next round, and if you win that round, you win the iPhone. All right, let's give a round of applause. All right, so we're going to line the night up with another performance, our final performance for the night, and then afterwards we've got another quiz, and then the national anthem, and then you all can go home and maybe eat some more food and finish it so that we don't have to go to bed.
Seriously, take it home.
Please. Okay, let's welcome everybody on stage for the final flute performance. Come on stage. love these dances because you can always come out and feel them all. The stage is on fire.
You know what I noticed that was nice though? During rehearsals, they, especially in the beginning, they had trouble actually talking to the same at the same time. they didn't have any trouble, so the audience helped them with that.
Thanks for being the audience.
So this I have a question for you.
Yes.
What did you do for fun in Saudi?
I mostly watched a lot of TV.
Oh, very productive.
We went out to the desert sometime.
And rode your goat named Tomash.
Are there fun things to do in Saudi Arabia?
We're actually going to hear about those for some people who visited Saudi in the next video.
Awesome, let's roll this footage.
Dicono che ci sono 3 cose che ti possono rendere felice. Un lavoro che ami, una famiglia premurosa ed amici di fiducia che ti supportano. Mi chiamo Giuseppe, sono di Torino. I miei amici mi chiamano Peppe. Mi sono trasferito in Arabia Saudita 3 anni fa per lavoro. Contrariamente a quello che mi aspettavo, in Arabia Saudita ho trovato uno sviluppo sorprendente. Ma nonostante tutto, qui amo fare una vita semplice proprio come in Italia. Rimango continuamente sorpreso dalle similarità che trovo nella vita di tutti i giorni. È vero che ho lasciato la mia famiglia biologica in Italia, ma qui sono riuscito a compensarla con un'altra. Non bevo il mio espresso al balcone del bar come ero abituato. In ogni modo, non ho smesso di bere caffè di ottima qualità. Mi mancano i deliziosi spaghetti della signora Claudia, ma comunque mangio bene. Non ho smesso di giocare a calcio. Lo faccio con un nome diverso. Il sole qui splende tutto l'anno, come se fossimo in una spiaggia della Sicilia. Mi manca la Sicilia. Ho sostituito le gite sulle spiagge con gite nel deserto che faccio con i miei amici di qui. Qualche volta mi manca il mio amico Mario, ma qui ho trovato più di un Mario. Condividiamo molte somiglianze. Urlano come noi, esultano nella gioia come noi. Abbiamo 60 milioni di manager di calcio in Italia. Qui ne hanno 30 milioni. Questo è il momento in cui mi mancano le mie discussioni con Mario. Ma la vita ci offre ancora alcune somiglianze inaspettate, indipendentemente dalle circostanze. L'esperienza è sempre la stessa, ma con un gusto diverso.
Had the honor to be in Saudi 2 years ago when I had the honor of playing the first concerts in the country, the classical music concert with the new Hungarian piano. I was already a little bit familiar with the country, but I have played in Jeddah and in Riyadh, but I didn't know this area. So now coming here, my fascination was exceeded. I was never imagining that something so beautiful I will be experiencing. I have been as a concertizing pianist all over the world, and I like very many places. I have learned how rich in history this place is, so that was adding to my fascination actually. So I am deeply moved and honored to be here. I think that one of the greatest joy of human person is if someone finds a beauty, and I have found, then to share it with the loved ones. I have got an inspiration of a unique kind, almost an inner necessity, and therefore I already have sketches of a musical work, of a composition, which would introduce this region in the language of music. Hospitality in general was absolutely fascinating, and not only because people were very polite, but also because I can feel that they are sincere. And I love the Saudi coffee, the Arabic coffee, for example, and whenever I try to make it at home, it never comes even close to what it is here. Thank you very much.
Just to say, it's so impressive how Saudi Arabia facilitates the pilgrimage for 2 million plus pilgrims. I just find it wonderful how many volunteers are helping, how it's cleaned all the time, you know, just all the Saudi Arabians, they also all get involved, and so many young people help. just doing the tawaf, being with the people, some chant, some do another kind of chanting, and you're just being taken in the stream of people, every skin color, every age.
السعودي والمحرك الرئيسي للتنمية وأداتها الفعالة وشباب الشابات هذه البلاد هم عمدا للإنجاز وأمر المستقبل والمرة تبيع شريك له حقوق كاملة وفي شريعتنا سمحة.
المملكة العربية السعودية في الخمس سنوات القادمة سوف تكون مختلفة تماما، سوف تكون اللحظة القادمة في العالم في 30 سنة القادمة في الشرق الأوسط إن شاء الله. هذه حرب السعوديين، هذه حربي اللي أخوضها شخصيا، ولا أريد أن أفارق الحياة إلا وأرى الشرق الأوسط في مقدمة مصاف العالم، وأعتقد أن هذا الهدف سوف يتحقق 100%.
That was nice. We learned a lot about things you could do in Saudi Arabia. We also know that recently in Saudi Arabia, there's been hosted WWE matches, Formula E races, soccer leagues, stand-up comedians. Saudi Arabia also launched SpaceX's Falcon Heavy rocket.
Nice. Right here.
All right, the night is almost coming to a close. We're just going to do one more quiz, and then we're going to do one more section about the social and future of Saudi Arabia, and then we're going to do the national anthem. For that, quick word to our sponsors. Thank you so much to Saudi Dean, the people responsible for the delicious candies on your table. They also sponsor the iPhone, so thanks to them.
Probably the best sweets. I wish they had a store in the U.S. so you guys can taste their, I can't explain it. You have to taste it.
They also sponsored some presents, like the present we gave Dr. Gonzalez. And at this point in time, we'd like to welcome our speakers who spoke tonight to give them some presents. So let's welcome Dr. Dahlman. Are you still in the room? Is there someone who can accept this award on her behalf? Omar, can you accept this award on behalf of Dr. Dahlman? Come up on stage, Omar. All right.
Thank you for your donation.
Photo opportunity? Yeah, let's give a round of applause. Thank you, Omar. Said you're welcome. Next up, Stephanie Gonzalez. Please come up on stage.
Hello.
Dr. Wayne Allen. And Mark Johnson, please come up on stage. Thank you everyone for your lovely speeches. We'd also like to thank Fidel for putting this entire event together. One more round of applause for Fidel.
We have one more gift for Hamdi from Holy Land for helping serve this wonderful food. We'll catch him.
Bro, I'm not going to set on his behalf again. We'd also like to thank Gahut Dog. The delicious coffee you had outside is called Gahut Dog. And finally, SACM, the program that sponsors Saudi students to come here, which is why we have so many wonderful Saudi students sitting in the back of the room. And finally, the quiz.
The final quiz.
The final quiz. Omar, come up on stage again. We're going to have you pull out one more card. We didn't even plan this. This man is just a champion. All right, shake it real good and pick one.
Oh. 335164.
335164. Nobody. One more, Wait. Give it a second. What was the number again? I think we lost the number, so we're going to do another round anyway. Shake it real good and pick the number.
335138.
Okay, come on up on stage. Thank you, Omar. Thank you very much. Let's give a round of applause. All right, and the winner from the previous round. Thank you. Okay, cue the music. Let's go. Final round. That's correct, it's 6%. You didn't win the whole round yet. All right, what's your name? My name is Wali. Wali, thanks for coming up on stage, Wali. Okay.
Which king founded KSET? A. King Abdullah. B. King Faisal. A. King Abdullah. B. King Fahad. C. King Faisal. Definitely King Abdullah.
Oh,
Just before my ticket got called, I was reading if I might remember you called it.
That's only what he said in class today. He's like, I'm going to guide Kyle with his iPhone.
What are you going to do with this iPhone? Good answer. All right.
Picked up the questions, so you can't say, oh, like, you know, I gave you the questions and answered. No, we just literally like, picked up the questions when the videos were playing.
Yeah, that's correct. It's accurate. You're probably his favorite friend right now. All right, our final segment is going to be, this is our last thing, and then we'll have the national anthem, and then that'll be the end of the night. So again, grab some food if you haven't. This final segment is going to be talking about the social change moving forward in Saudi Arabia. We're talking about the past and the future. Now we're talking about the future of the culture. So please welcome Adil up on stage. Adil.
Hello everyone, again. Drive to success. Drive to success. I'll start by saying that Saudi Arabia is in the process of developing and interfering with the current world in a reasonable level to share the second world and the first in terms of practical and industrial resources. Therefore, the kingdom faces different challenges from other countries. Among them, Saudi Arabia has fundamentals that may be in the process of being developed and being characterized as such. Traditional aspects may be unintentionally affected by such development. The kingdom might be at the required level that would allow this regeneration without affecting the fundamentals and the constitution of Islamic State, because Saudi Arabia does not only represent the Middle East, it also represents the Islamic Qibla, which is the destination that all Muslims around the world pray to. The kingdom is in the circle of accusation of forgetting the religious identity, because it's allowed embracing what is known as the Western lifestyle. However, the kingdom is accredited and it tries to preserve its Arab and Islamic identity, as the first international relations were and still adhere to embrace visitors to the Islamic holy city of Mecca and Medina. Saudi Arabia offers several free services annually to Muslims around the world by preparing invitations to the rituals of Islamic capitals as a humanitarian services and a reflection of the customs of generosity in the Arabian states. In conclusion, Saudi Arabia has become a country undergoing unlimited changes at the present time, with a stability on its traditional and religious state. For every change, there is a challenge, and every challenge requires a competitor. Over the years, Saudi Arabia has improved its qualification for this task. The greater number of people engaged in change, the less difficult it is to reach the goal. We may be few in our number here, but we are a great part of this transformation. Let us be a big help of this development. Let us present the green of honoring that fanatical Muslim sect that is considered to the Islamic Prophet favorite color, and the white that represents the column of Islam, which is the Shahada, the testimony there is no God but God, and Muhammad is the Prophet of God. And the swords represent the unification of Abdulaziz bin Abdul Rahman Al Saud. So please stand and join us in honoring the sound that unified our host country. Whoa! والوطن للمجد والعلياء مجدي لخالق السماء وارفع الخطاط أفضل يحمل النور المصدر ردد يا الله أكبر يا موطني عشت فخر المسلمين عاش الملك للعالم والوطن.
That's a wrap, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. Thanks for being a wonderful audience. The lights are coming back on. There's photo booths over there, and right there in that corner, there are free goodies for you to take home. The same candy that's on your table. So feel free to take some home, right in that corner.
I'm glad tonight.
Thanks, everybody.
I'm glad tonight turned out okay. It was bomb. Can I say that? It was bomb.
Damn, you really wanted to put that.
Or is that racist? No, never mind.
What's up, Mama? What's that? Oh, they're over there. You want to see?